Hello, this is Pastor Terry Goodman, and I want to welcome you to the Wesleyan Connection. This podcast is primarily for the clergy and laity of the Holston Annual Conference. Join with me now as I take a look around the Connection and share some of the things happening in the churches of our annual conference. Well, this is Pastor Terry Goodman, and I want to welcome you to episode number 5 of Conversations at Annual Conference. For those of you that don't know me, I am a 56-year-old guy that has 4 boys, ages soon to be 20, soon to be 18, soon to be 17, and soon to be 13. They keep me busy. As a result, I don't know, maybe I'm exposed to the teenage scene more so than other ministers. I don't know. But for ministers my age, I suppose I'm exposed more so than others for sure. And so one of the things I wanted to do in terms of interviews was to sit down with some of the youth of our annual conference. My son Jacob, he is on the Conference Council on Youth Ministries, and I picked him and a couple of youth up as they were making their way back down to the youth house and dropped them off and said I wanted to do an interview, and he asked him to arrange some folks for me to talk to. And so I went down and had a conversation with Olivia Starks and Kegan Heniger. They're a couple of 17-year-olds, sort of right in the mid-range in terms of my boy's age. But I wanted to talk with them about how their faith impacted their lives as youth. And so I hope you will listen to this interview. If you have thoughts and ideas, or if you've ever wondered what it is that the youth of today are thinking, I think that these two, if they are the examples that we have of Holston youth, then we're in good shape, because they seem to have things working out in their minds and in their lives. And for them, it's not just thoughts, but it's also how you portray those thoughts in the world in which you live. And so listen to this conversation with Olivia and Kegan. I'm here tonight to talk with some of the youth of our annual conference. Olivia Starks says Morristown on your tag. What church are you at in Morristown?
We're at First United Methodist in Morristown, but we're about to move to Church Street.
Oh, okay. And Kegan, what was your last name?
Heniger.
Kegan Heniger. Where are you in church-wise?
Central United Methodist Church, Wytheville District.
Wytheville, that's a good church to be in. I was up in Radford myself for a while in the area. Well, I'm here to talk with y'all tonight to get a perspective of the youth and how faith shapes your lives. In other words, when you read about youth millennials, y'all are probably not even the millennial generation. Were you born after 2000?
No.
Nope. So you were born like 99? So you're a millennial. How old are you?
Right on 2000.
Right on. Close enough. We've got 2 late blooming millennials here, and all the demographics say that they view the world differently than the rest of us. So let me start with this question. When you think about your faith in Jesus Christ, how do you think it affects the way you live your life? Who wants to go first?
Well, my faith has played a huge role in my life because that has really helped me establish my morals, like what my parents have instilled in me from the Bible. That's really affected the way I treat people, the way I'll include people in events.
Okay. How about you?
It really just affects almost every aspect of life. Like Olivia said, with morals, I was brought up in the church, so it had a huge impact on me. It affects the way I think about anything from driving a car to going to church to studying for school, and it's just really an important part of my life.
You all are living in a world that studies tell us is becoming less and less Christian. How do you see that playing out in your schools and in your communities? Is that really happening?
I would say a lot of people claim to be Christian, but they're acting less and less like it, just because what being a teenager is, what people claim it is like going out and drinking, partying, living in the now, instead of really capturing God's Word and letting that affect your life. And then people find the effects of that later.
Honestly, sometimes I can't even tell if folks are Christian or not. A lot of times the people are acting just in ways that I can't tell if they're Christian or not. One minute they do something that could be a Christian action, next minute they're not. But I can definitely see a slippage into the sin that the world's taken in media, with anything from news websites to magazines and the line at the grocery store. A lot of some stuff pops up when you're just reading articles online about something that's totally innocent. Something will pop up on the side, a link that you really don't want to see or need to see. But that's always probably the biggest example is the media.
How do you see your role in the life of the church? How old are you, Olivia?
I'm 17.
You're 17, and how old are you?
17.
You're 17. So both of you are 17 years old, probably juniors or seniors in high school, probably going to head off to college. But how do you fit in to the local church? Are you an observer, or are you actively involved? What's it like?
Well, I'm a preacher's kid, so from a young age, I've been involved constantly. Everybody kind of knows you, even if you don't know them. And I feel like the youth at our church are very active. They're always welcome to any event. We've put on quite a few events at the church. Sometimes we feel like we're observing, just because the adults are often told that they have to do the important stuff, and we're kind of given what the adults can't do. But I feel like the youth have a very important role, and that needs to be magnified.
Okay.
Well, I feel like I'm at least involved in my church. I'm on the youth leadership team at my youth group, but our youth group does play a pretty important role in the church. We always hold lots of youth events, youth group on Sunday nights, and we have something called U-Night every month. Is where the youth member of the youth delivers a sermon and is led by the youth. The music's led by the youth praise band. So I believe our church has a very healthy youth group that hopefully will continue to attract more youth from around the community.
Now, are both of you members of the Conference Council on Youth Ministries?
Yes.
Okay. What do you think that group, what role does it play in the life of our annual conference?
Well, I feel like we play not a big role, but we have an important role because we are the voice of the youth for the conference. And often when we'll walk to sessions or away from sessions, adults will tell us that they're grateful that we're here because there often isn't a large youth voice, even though we're just as much a part of the church as adults are. And I feel like annual conference, at least in the Holston Conference, really helps us embrace that because they let us help with the 5K, they let us serve communion, and I feel like that's really vital to our faith.
This is my first annual conference, so I'm not sure how well I can answer the question. But so far, I've enjoyed interacting with a lot of the other members of the United Methodist Church, and I look forward to helping with the 5K tomorrow. And I'll be working one of the stopwatches at the finish line because
Due to the boot on your foot.
Yeah, because I can't really run or anything. But I enjoyed helping with communion today at the gluten-free table, and I think I've really enjoyed it.
Okay, I've saved the most difficult, the most theological, the question for last, and you two get closer because I want to be able to get both of your answers at the same time because who knows what's going to happen when you hear this question. What is your favorite dessert?
Oh, tiramisu.
No idea.
No idea. You don't eat dessert?
Not that much anymore.
Oh, wow. Well, you'll find a guilty pleasure with dessert at some point, I'm sure, in your life. Well, I want to thank you all.
I got one.
I've got one.
All right, chocolate cake.
Chocolate cake.
That's a good choice.
Can't beat chocolate, can't beat cake. Great combo. Well, thank you all for sharing with me. Wish you the best at your churches and hope that you will make a strong impact for the Lord, not only in your church, but your community and your annual conference and the college, wherever you all end up. Keep on doing good things for the Lord.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. It's been fun.
I decided that I would only do one segment to this noontime podcast today, and I hope you enjoyed listening to the things that Olivia and Kegan had to say. Tune back in tonight at 6 p.m. for episode number 6 of Conversations at Annual Conference. Also, be sure to check out the call podcast that I'm doing. I won one up at 6 o'clock this morning talking about the events of today happening at annual conference, along with some commentary of what happened yesterday. And one will go up again tomorrow morning at about 6 or 7 a.m. to tell you what will be happening on Wednesday at annual conference. So take time to listen to the Call podcast, as well as tuning back in to hear more of these Wesleyan Connection podcasts as I do this series, Conversations at Annual Conference. This is Pastor Goodman. Thanks for listening to this edition of the Wesleyan Connection. Be sure to check back often for more podcasts.